I'm here with Bob from Blackmagic. Bob, what do we got showing at the show today?
So here we are at the BILD show. We have our new Ursa Cine 65, which is a 17K sensor. It's our biggest camera to date. Obviously, 17K is a large file size, but because of Blackmagic Raw, the files are fairly nimble. It's a full frame sensor. You can shoot in 4K, 8K, 12K, 17K, a lot of Ks, but the reason for it is like the more information you can get, you can shoot, IMAX style because of the size of the frame. And it's our, like I said, our newest, but it incorporates the same sort of technology as our Ursa Cine 12K that we had last year. So same body for that one. And the accessories are the same for both cameras. And, we have our internal storage, but the removable storage that we make that has the 8 terabytes that are removable, which you need because the files get a little bit large.
Wow. So that was a mouthful. So, but like 17K, what price point are you guys bringing that thing in at?
So it's a little over, it's 30,000 plus taxes and whatnot, but yeah, a little over 30,000, which, for something that size is actually fairly inexpensive. It's expensive for Blackmagic, but not necessarily in the camera range.
Is this Blackmagic going, trying to eat like Alexa's lunch and things like that?
It's not so much that. We're all about empowering our own user base. And, a lot of them, because they're shooting virtual sets and things like that, they need to put really high resolution images behind them. And so putting a 16K or more behind you really gives you some great, real experiences because you have really good footage behind you. Yeah.
And so we got some other developments this year. You guys finally have autofocus, like real life autofocus. Tell me about that.
So the autofocus is in beta right now, and we put it in the cinema camera 6K first. That's the new generation of cameras. So that's a full frame camera with the L mount. So it's in there now in beta. It'll move its way up through the Pixus line next. And we're getting feedback on its usage. It's not just a simple autofocus. There's ways to track people and things like that. It's very sophisticated, and we're still working out adding and tweaking things. That's why it's still in beta.
So that's coming to the 6K cinema camera, but not the pocket cameras.
Yeah, correct. So the pocket cameras were a different generation of hardware. So at this point, we feel that it's for the newer cameras because of the hardware that's in them.
So they just don't have the stuff to hold on to that autofocus.
Right. You need a lot of processing and whatnot. And these cameras were built, the newer ones were built with this in mind, knowing that we were going down that path.
You released the Pixus, and then there's a new Pixus as well. Can you tell us about the two different Pixus cameras?
Right. So the two different Pixus, there's the Pixus 6K and the Pixus 12K. They're both full frame. They both come in the same options for lens mount. And again, that's another example of the Pixus monitor works on both of them. All of the accessories for the Pixus camera 6K obviously works on the 12K. The size is the same. It's just the sensor internally.
So why did we need a 12K versus a 6K Pixus?
When we have multiple sensors that we are using, and if we're able to put the larger ones in newer bodies, then it gives people options, really. It's a smaller footprint camera as opposed to the 12K Ursa Cine 12K, right? But this way you have two 12K sensors if you want to shoot, but have one in a smaller, setup as opposed to the bigger camera. So, we just give people options, and we find that people tend to use multiple cameras of ours on sets, but fortunately with Blackmagic Raw and the color science in Davinci Resolve, you're able to match no matter what you're using. But this gives people really good options at the same sizes.
So, will the Pixus 12K essentially replace the Ursa 12K?
No. They're different. The Ursa Cine 12K is a different camera. It has more monitors on it. It's a more of a on a tripod with multiple people operating it, whereas the Pixus 12K can be run and gun. It could be, a lot of those things. If you shoot 12K run and gun and use the stabilization for 4K, it's like having a Steadicam without using a Steadicam.
And what about software-wise? What are we doing with Davinci? What version are we on? Give us the updated.
Sure. Davinci Resolve 20 is now a full release version. There's a free version you can download. It has a lot of new AI tools for editing and for audio, and also in VFX and tracking and things like that. Always improving. Davinci Resolve has loads of features that you can't even list anymore because there's always so many. And that software continues to be updated throughout the year as needed, and it's amazing what they've done in all these years.
Are there more switchers, more controllers, that kind of thing?
So yeah, we just introduced the new ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2. The G2 version of it is coming out later this year. We have introduced some new software for ATEM switchers. There's going to be a beta coming soon for their shadow switching so that you can switch both MEs at the same time with exceptions, which is kind of cool. Like if you only want to, if you take, like, say, the wide shot on the main presentation, but on the, up there on the screens, you want to actually put a tight shot, you can list those exceptions. So when I hit this button, it means that button on that ME. And so it really does give people more creativity, more freedom with less, not having to get another person or overtaxing people.
And in terms of like the different levels of product, who are we going for in terms of the cameras? Who are we going for in terms of professionals, and who are we going for like enthusiasts kind of thing?
So the interesting thing about our cameras, I feel, is that everybody has become a customer, and it doesn't matter. And we have the guys at the highest level who use a wide range of our cameras. Like, they'll have a pocket camera, but they'll also want to shoot on the 17K. We had a DP wanted to borrow one this week for a test, But in the meantime, students are showing up in college with Blackmagic cameras. I've talked to a bunch here today that are like, oh, and then we bought a Pixus, and then, it's amazing what the price points have enabled a lot of people. The guys at the higher end don't care so much about the cost, but what they're getting, and that integration of Blackmagic Raw and the way that you can use it in Davinci Resolve and matching and the 16 stops of dynamic range at the top end and things like that get them enthused. But it is kind of interesting because there used to be this sort of class system in a way of price points on a lot of products that just, when you become a grown-up, you can move to, but that's not the case with us. It's never been the case with us. We have schools that use larger switchers than some of our broadcast customers. It just depends on what they need. So the beauty of the software interface in our cameras, all the same, so it doesn't matter what you're using, you know how to use the next camera because you do that user interface. We do that with the ATEM software and the ATEM switchers, so anyone that learns any of them can learn the new one very easily.
And you guys have always seemed to be really great at listening to the customer base, like and interfacing with cinematographers, with editors. Where do people contact you, and where can they find out more about Blackmagic products?
Well, blackmagicdesign.com is our website, and there's a section that says forum, and there are sections for cinematography and live production and whatnot. And that forum has been very active, and we have guys on there that answer questions. Other customers answer questions. It's a very good back and forth that goes on there, and that's where we get a lot of our requests.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much. That was great.
This is the BTRP Media Network.